Direttore artistico di ArtVerona, la manifestazione che si svolgerà dall'11 al 13 dicembre presso il polo fieristico di Verona Fiere. Siamo arrivati al terzo appuntamento di Prospettive, il webinar organizzato da ArtVerona in collaborazione con lo IULM e curato da Alessia Zorloni, che è membro del comitato di indirizzo di ArtVerona e anche responsabile del Master in Art Management dell'Università IULM. Prospettive è un ciclo di incontri che vuole mostrare come il panorama dell'arte italiano viene visto e percepito sia da una prospettiva appunto internazionale, sia da una prospettiva più nazionale. Abbiamo avuto come ospiti Olga Neuimberg, direttore dell'EARTH, Herning Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art, il museo che ha la più grande collezione pubblica di opere di Piero Manzoni. Abbiamo avuto come ospite sabato scorso Umberta Gnutti Beretta, filantropa e sostenitrice dell'arte italiana, e oggi abbiamo come ospite il collezionista Ronald Rozenbaum, fondatore di The-Embassy a Bruxelles. Infine il ciclo si chiuderà giovedì prossimo, sempre alle ore 18, con Mark Davy, CEO di Future City, un'agenzia che si occupa di placemaker culturale e quindi del posizionamento di opere d'arte in luoghi pubblici, in infrastrutture come ospedali, ferrovie, piazze, e che coinvolge diversi artisti in tutto il mondo e ha diversi progetti da sviluppare anche in Italia. Lascio quindi la parola a Edoardo, a cui lo ringrazio per aver contattato Ronald, e lo lascio introdurre e do appuntamento poi.
Buonasera a tutti, grazie dell'opportunità di aver partecipato con questa serie di talk. Parlo brevemente in inglese di Ronald e procedo con l'introduzione. Hey Ron, it was so good to see you. Super happy to have you join the series of talks. It's a super great pleasure. For those that don't know, the Embassy is a cultural space at the heart of Brussels, and it's called as such because it is indeed a former embassy. It's the former embassy of Lebanon that Ronald a few years ago purchased in order to restore it and turn it into his private residency and a space where he could showcase his art collection that comprises both contemporary and modern art pieces, as well as support the local community with a series of talks and events. I've met Ronald a few years ago in New York through his wife, Elena Soboleva, who's online director of sales for David Zwirner. And it's been such a pleasure since then to be in Brussels every time and meeting them and hanging out with them. And I'm super happy that they're joining us tonight for this conversation. I now leave the word to Alessia Zorloni, and thanks again for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eduardo, and for this introduction, and ArtVerona for this wonderful opportunity. It's a pleasure to introduce Ronald Rozenbaum, founder of the private collection, The Embassy in Bruxelles. Ronald turned a townhouse in Bruxelles, which was a former embassy, into his house, and where occasionally organized a public exhibition. The Embassy is strongly centered on painting and on conceptual and minimalist art. We work by Caro Andrea, Bruce Nauman, Dan Flavin, as well as on more contemporary generation of artists. Hi, Ronald. Can you tell us a bit of you? When did you personally begin to collect artwork, and why?
Years ago. And yeah, maybe it's that at that moment, after having been buying art for already 5-6 years, I became a collector.
How many houses did you change? Just because you said I move in a...
Yeah, like we're talking about like at least 4 apartments before before the house. So I like the concept of for so long not considering myself as a collector.
Now you have found the right place, I think.
and we took too much time to renovate. We are like emotionally involved for the first time in a building, so that's why we're going to keep it.
It was love at first sight when you saw the place. You look for something like that, or it just happened and then?
It was random, but I was looking for that. So it's a friend who told me that he had a friend who was selling. I said, okay, can I see? I saw it. It was such in disarray, but like the potential was tremendous. And right away, I knew what I could do with the place. And yeah, the transaction went very fast. And I remember I was in Venice for the Venice Biennale when at the same time negotiating the purchase. So
great. Great. Usually, do you usually prefer to buy or maybe commission work of art?
It's not a question of preferring. I think, and it's the case that I buy more than I commission. I like to commission, or by commissioning, maybe we can say like getting more involved, or like getting in touch with the artist, having him doing something specifically for you or for the place. But truthfully, I buy more than I commission, even though I love to then or at the same time being involved with the artists alive, recollecting. So yeah, it goes in that way.
Yes. And does your collection follow a concept or a specific theme, or how it starts? There is a specific theme, or yeah?
I should say no, and it was definitely not there for years. Having said that, and if you look at the collection, you will see lines that were not there at the onset, but like we have our taste, we bought some, and definitely when you look at it, you can, and it was easy for me also to understand what were my tastes on what I was kind of randomly buying. But so lines were not there. They are definitely there today. We don't want to stick to it, but they are our tastes. So
yes, I think is a research, also a research in our taste, and also to define at the end, not at the end of the journey, some specific topic which related to our identity, I think.
It's just to add to that question, it's like sometimes it's a little bit compromising to open your collection to strangers, because like sometimes I have the dream when you are so afraid you're walking naked, everybody is seeing you. Like opening your collection, basically, I have the impression that someone can totally see who I am, and like sometimes.
It's true. Yes. No, I think it's personal, so personal and private. Private in the sense that is something related to the intimate sphere of personality. And how have your taste changed since you started collecting, or do you see a change? Yeah, an evolution.
Saw one, definitely, but like one that I was kind of amazed by or like surprised was that I was attracted by some pieces or some kind of art that I ended up not buying and not really knowing why. And years later, I was kind of surprised that my taste, they didn't change. I just could pinpoint why I didn't trigger the buying, why I didn't trigger the purchase. And it was a triviality. I was attracted, I was interested about art history, and some pieces were related to that. And me seeing that in some pieces, I was attracted by that. And at some point, it was too easy, or like not bringing something. So it's more like I didn't go for it, and I was happy not to. And nowadays, I still see what was attracting me in that kind of art. and like totally skipping my interest, and I see and I pass. So that doesn't answer your question, but like it's another way of like sometimes you do choices and they define what's going to be the collection. And in what I just described, some decisions are like no-goes are also important.
Yes. And just thinking about how you buy, are you an impulsive buyer, or do you prefer to research before acquiring a piece?
I prefer to research, but I do both. I enjoy more when I can research and I'm like digging, diving, reading everything about the artist, about the work. That's like sometimes if I'm like, that's what I enjoy the most, and I still do that. Eduardo can ask some stories about that, and has been helping finding crazy pieces for some specific part of the house. So like the journey of finding the piece you're looking for, it's like so rewarding. You learn so much about yourself, you learn so much about art. It's like, it's really interesting. But like I am like, definitely I prefer that, but I will go to art fairs and discuss with directors, gallery directors, and if they can sell their art pretty well, and if I'm attracted to it, it can happen at those occasions as well.
So both, in both way. Yeah, it depends from
with a preference to dig and to find really what you're looking for.
Yes. And what is the approximate number of artwork in your collection? But just or you have an idea, for instance, you have an idea, or you know the exact number. So you know you have a list of your work, just or
I have, and at the same time I lost track of it a while ago because the list is becoming kind of too big, and it's not very interesting, because I'm going to give you a number to be really straightforward, but that number doesn't mean so much. So the number you're looking for is like 350, but 350 what? We have small things that are numbering and expanding the collection. And
no, the question is just to know if you are organized. So, for instance, you record every purchase, and you have, I mean, an Excel of the work.
I'm very well organized, and that came very early on, but like, so the structure was there and I'm still using it. So I have folders for the news, the info on my artist, about what I bought, the invoices and all of that. And I have an Excel spreadsheet, and there are a lot of information in it. But like, look at the number you just asked me, I have it in that Excel spreadsheet, and at the same time, I never look at it. So it became an automated way of storing information, and at the same time, but like literally years ago, I lost track of it. So just like doing it automatically, but
yes. And another question, do you have, for instance, an annual budget for art acquisition, or how do you manage to organize it?
To answer that question, let me just tell you how I bought my first work. So I was like touring the art world for a year and a half without the means to really buy something meaningful. And all of a sudden I had a great year, and I was in Miami at Art Basel, and so I had like the money, so I bought something instead of something else, or something else would have been consumptions of whatever. And I was really happy with that. So I don't have a yearly budget. I know what I can afford. I don't go beyond what I can afford. It has been increasing every year. That's a good thing for me. But yeah, I try to be reasonable. I never go beyond what I can do, and I'm pleased that I can still buy and will be able to buy in the years to come. So no budget, but like being reasonable with
you have control of your acquisition.
Yeah, I'm not playing casino and like losing it.
And as I said, do you have a personal relationship with the artists you collect?
So what's the question?
See, if you have a personal relationship with the artists you collect.
Like if we can, most of the time we cherish that. It's very fruitful and very interesting to be in touch with your artist, or more generally with artists. So if we can, if we manage to develop a true, strong relationship, definitely we'll go for it. And along the way, we build like very good ones. Because there is art, owning art is not that necessary. Being in touch with art, with artists, that's the true value, the real meaning, the real thing, the reason why we are involved. So yeah, like there are a lot, but like along the way, some disappeared, or we bought some artists that were already not with us anymore. So if we can, and if they're alive, yeah, definitely.
And do you, what do you think about, or do you see collecting also as an investment? Do you agree with this or not? Do you see collecting also as an investment?
No. So let's just quickly get back to what I said before. Like I try to be reasonable on what I'm buying. I also consider that what I spend in art, I shouldn't need it like tomorrow. So having said that, that's how I justify it not being an investment. Having said that, there is this little thrill when you see something you bought for some money, all of a sudden increase in value tremendously. It's you didn't do it for that. It's not a bad thing happening to you. It doesn't mean you're going to sell it. It's not justifying or saying anything, but yeah, it's a little thrill, but definitely not an investment.
Yes. What makes, from your point of view, a great collection?
If it reflects the personality of the owner, if it's peculiar. Something we're seeing nowadays that it's not very, it's lacking something. It's like when an artist is becoming trendy and all of a sudden you see him or her in a bunch of collections, and by a bunch, like the usual suspect as collectors, then it doesn't reflect much. It's just like the new season and the new artist, and you have it or you don't have it. That's not very interesting. But like when it reflects the personality, the peculiarity, the idiosyncrasy of a collector, this is amazing, because it might not be your taste, but like it will help you understand a character, a person. So at that point, it's a great thing.
And in fact, some say a collection is a portrait of a collector and express his personality. I think, do you agree? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very fascinating to discover through the collection also the journey of a personality.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever lent any artwork from your collection to any museum? It happens, or for an exhibition, or to a gallery?
Every time we are asked to lend a piece, we agree on. We just had a piece back from a museum in Poland. Never went to visit it. We asked them to share with us like pictures of the show. Hope to receive them anytime soon. But like we just got back the work, and I think it was gone for 6 months. But like definitely, every time an institution is going to ask for a piece, they'll receive it.
It's great. And now they know. I mean, they know the piece in the collection.
That's a good question, especially for the last one. I truly wonder, or they ended up asking me directly, do you have a piece, do you have that piece by that artist? It's a Robert Barry, important artwork. And only they know that. Oh yeah, it was through the gallery who sold me
through the gallery,
piece.
maybe.
So it can be that, like we posting on social media every now and then something, so it can catch the eye of someone, or we receive along the years a lot of people as well. So it can be for a lot of directions, but like with pleasure, every time it can help and share.
Yes.
We'll do it.
And so many works are in private collection, in private museum. Do you have any relationship with Italian contemporary art collector, and if you have any chance to visit their collection?
So my wife and I, we love Italy. I think pre-COVID era, last year I would say we went like 5 or 6 times in Italy for weddings, for art, for so many things. And yeah, we have like dear friends. Eduardo is one of them. We have the family Sandretto, Rere Bedengo. We love them as well. And like Italy is known for contemporary art, antiques. Like it's such a delight to come and visit the north, the center, or the south. Private collections, public collections. It's like it's a never-ending
journey.
Exactly, but like yeah, and where there shouldn't be an end to it. This year we only, and because of like even with COVID, we came already 3 times. But yeah, like it's so rich and so interesting. So every occasion we have to come, we say yes.
And finally, can you tell if there is any private museum worldwide you like, your favorite, or some of your favorite collection? I don't know. Yeah.
This is like very tough to answer, because like especially for a bulimic like me, like who can, like if I go to a city, I will go to see 10 museums, 20 collections, like finding. It's not going to be a museum, because like I have my history of like I have my vision on what's the role of a museum, and like having them as like perfect building and being artworks in themselves is like something I don't see as necessary. So should I mention places, or like should I mention artworks? And for me, it's easier with maybe. Yeah, like for me, it's easier to talk about artwork specifically than places. Or then I say the name of the places in which my favorite artworks are.
Okay.
And then I should definitely mention the MoMA. And why the MoMA is because Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, which is my favorite painting ever.
Yeah.
But having said that, you'll go to Texas and Houston and see the Rothko Chapel built by the Domenil Collection, or just beside the Cy Twombly Museum. Those are like perfect jewels, most of the time empty. Because like the way you're enjoying art without too many people, it's also like something very interesting. Just to tell you a story about the Cy Twombly Museum. We were like, my wife and I, the 2 only visitors on that day. And all of a sudden I took my iPhone, put some classic music, the guard ran at us and asked to stop it. And I say, you know, like we are the 2 of us, so why not? And you look at me and say, it's fine. So we were visiting that museum, just the 2 of us, with like the music we chose. And in like, I don't know if you went, or like the people with us tonight, but like even already without music, that museum is perfect. So with the music of your choice and like being alone, it makes that place just perfect.
So I want to thank you very much, Ronald, for your time, for this inspiring conversation. And I want to do a little sum up in Italian for the public. So abbiamo parlato di collezionismo in questo incontro, anche nell'incontro passato con la collezionista Umberta Gnutti Beretta, diciamo che il collezionismo e soprattutto il ruolo dei collezionisti privati è sempre più importante, poi i collezionisti hanno varie modalità, c'è chi collabora con le istituzioni, c'è chi crea una propria fondazione, c'è chi collabora prestando le opere alle istituzioni pubbliche, però un fatto diciamo importante e comune è quello che il collezionismo, soprattutto il collezionismo privato, sta avendo sempre più un impatto nella promozione della cultura contemporanea, nella promozione dell'arte contemporanea e quindi un impatto anche nella società. Poi i collezionisti hanno le loro modalità, è sempre interessante ascoltare varie prospettive perché poi non c'è un singolo modo, ci sono vari modi di collezionare, vari modi di rapportarsi alle opere d'arte e ognuno ha una sua valenza. Alla fine il collezionismo è un viaggio personale alla scoperta dell'arte, ma molto spesso anche proprio alla scoperta di se stessi, perché attraverso l'acquisizione di varie opere ogni collezionista in qualche modo rivela anche la sua personalità, la sua sensibilità. Ecco, io ringrazio ancora Ronald per questa conversazione e passo la parola a Stefano.
Okay. Thanks, Ronald. Grazie, Alessia. I will speak in Italian just shortly. Voglio ringraziare tutte le persone che hanno seguito questo terzo appuntamento del webinar, appunto il penultimo. Il prossimo sarà giovedì prossimo, sempre alle 6, con Mark Devi, fondatore di Future City, che si occupa appunto di installazione di opere d'arte in spazi pubblici, ferrovie, ospedali, collaborazioni con le amministrazioni e che ha vari progetti in tutto il mondo. Credo che sia molto interessante quanto detto Ronald sulla collezione come strumento di anche consapevolezza di sé e soprattutto la sua passione per il collezionismo e l'arte italiana. Così vi do appuntamento giovedì prossimo. Ronald, we will wait you in Verona in December, hopefully, and we want to in Italy, a lot of good things happening. So hope to see you soon, and thank you for your time, and thanks everyone to be here.
Thank you very much.